found on our YouTube page. So if you're ever on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the page there as well. And also our social media outlets. We got the Facebook page. We're on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. We're also on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. You want to reach out to me personally, I'm on Instagram at Trey Frazier, also on Facebook at Trey Frazier. Maestro Styles, the same thing, at Maestro Styles for Instagram. Maestro Styles on Facebook as well, and on Twitter, if you want to catch Maestro Styles too, at Maestro Styles. This week, the NFL's kicking off next week, so we're going to do our season preview. We're going to make predictions on who's going to the playoffs and who's going to win the division. And then, we're going to talk about some other stories like the Teddy Bridgewater trade, the David West retirement, the Elvis Dumerville retirement.
Yep.
And maybe I maybe get into, comments from Whitlock, but I really don't think that. I really think that's kind of a non-story at this point because, nobody's really surprised that Whitlock took a shot at the shop like that. So, that's what we got in store.
I can't wait to hear Marcellus body him. That's what I'm actually excited for.
He came with the smoke on Instagram and everything. Honestly, Whitlock just says what his bosses want. Their main demographic to hear, and their main demographic is black people. That for sports, they've already said it. For ESPN, that's their main demographic. Fox, all of them, black men, young black men, are their main demographic. So when he says things, he's making an impression whether we realize it or not. And he's saying it for a reason. And it's kind of I don't like it when that's his first thing is just attack everything an athlete says.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I got no love for that dude, man. I got nothing for him, man.
And he's too fat to wear a fedora all the time, honestly.
But yeah,
take the hat off.
But yeah, Trey, man, we appreciate you staying up late your time and calling in for us live, and we appreciate you being flexible and playing through all our technical difficulties, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. Y'all take it easy. Y'all have a good rest of the show, and hopefully we can, do this again, man. Maybe at some point throughout the football season. Hey Pete, what's your team, man?
I'm an Oakland Raiders fan through and through.
Now he is.
Okay.
Notice I said Oakland Raiders fan. Oakland Raiders fan.
So,
I didn't say Vegas.
So both of y'all Raiders fans.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think.
But we're at the edge.
I have options.
Okay.
We're open to other options.
Okay. You don't like their move to Vegas, it seemed like.
Nah.
A lot of stuff has been done that's really disrespectful, and I just can't support it.
And Gruden making them great again.
And I will never be a Niners fan, so my options are open.
Yeah, the Khalil Mack saga continues.
Yeah, man. Hopefully we get an update. Hopefully he signed so I can listen to your show and you celebrating for us Raiders fans, and it'll be a glorious day.
We'll see.
All right, man.
We'll see, fellas.
We'll talk to you.
All right, guys. Y'all take it easy.
Peace.
All right, man. Well, that was Trey Frazier from the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Shout out to him calling all the way from D.C., man. Really appreciate that. Live on the Good News radio station app and website. Also, shout out to the X Squad. Shout out to FPC Radio. And shout out to our soon-to-be partner, who I won't mention right now till it's official. But, yeah.
So why'd you mention that?
It's called a tease.
I know.
Bruh.
Anyways, KB, so something came up while we were interviewing Trey that you're probably more qualified to talk about. So do you want to get to it?
Well, it kind of speaks to a larger issue. Shout out to Chris Armani from the Get Right. Honestly, he's the one person who I think has more names than me. He's like 5 names, bro. I respect that. But and yeah, we're basketball fans too. But Pete's a Clippers fan, so he's not allowed to talk basketball around me. and he thinks I don't know basketball. But
okay, bro, can I pull you out of this tangent and get to the content?
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to
First of all, second of all, your basketball talk is really trash. I'm sorry, bro.
It's not.
I'm telling you this as your friend, not even as your podcast co-host. Like, honestly, bro, every time you talk basketball, I want to vomit and jump out the window. Like, literally, since I've known you. Like, literally, even since I've known you. Like, even when we were at the Sundial doing basketball podcast, your basketball takes were trash, bro.
Bro, I was right.
Bro, you wrote a column saying the Memphis Grizzlies should go to the Eastern Conference.
They should. They should not be in the Western Conference anymore.
But they're not even the most Eastern team on the West.
Bro, they're in Tennessee. Why are they in the West?
Yeah.
Explain that geographically to me.
We'll get to that later.
Shut up. You're the one who said, never mind.
So can you get to the Michigan State that you wanted to talk about, apparently, because you showed it to me?
Michigan State was cleared pretty much of all issues of a probe for sexual assault that was going on campus. Former trainer, Larry Nance, pretty much. Dude he got at least 100 years in prison for all the charges he got for molesting young women, gymnasts, former female athletes, an insane amount of time in jail. And the men and women's basketball men's basketball and men's football. I say men's football. The football program was cleared, even though multiple players have had issues. One was like an assault against a woman. Keith Mumphrey, former Michigan State receiver, is still suing the school based off what he feels was a wrongful pretty much expulsion for him proving that he didn't sexually assault the girl, but we already covered that in the past episode. But bottom line is,
the NCAA is trash. And we're lucky the NCAA is not our justice system, because not only would they have let this happen, but they're over here actually finding people for having YouTube series and taking away their scholarship and eligibility off of taking tacos from your coach for decades. And now here we are. They're saying Michigan State is cleared of wrongdoing,
which is interesting because they suspended guys for like sexual assault.
Well,
domestic violence issues.
Well, the whole investigation on this note is basically, how did the athletic department handle complaints that they got and things like that? The coach is suspended or the coach got in trouble for lying to the police about hearing complaints.
But the NCAA, they announced pretty much that Michigan State was cleared following their investigation into Larry Nassar and other allegations. But, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so pretty much NCAA ain't shit, in which we already know, in which we talk about damn near every week. On that note, might as well talk about Urban Meyer.
Oh, yeah, I was going to actually lead into that since we're in the Big Ten and we're talking about sexual assault and domestic violence issues in college.
Well, on our pre-record last week, we didn't get to. I don't think we talked about it.
We touched on it.
Yeah, but basically, Urban Meyer got 3 games.
Oh man!
And
by the way, there are players who have done, like Todd Gurley. There was a list. Todd Gurley took money, got like 4 or 5 games. Des Bryant, I remember, lied about having a dinner with Deion Sanders and had his entire eligibility taken away. But yeah, go ahead. NCAA's trash. That's the theme. So if you don't want to hear that.
Well, these suspensions came from the school, so
yeah,
they didn't even come from the NCAA. Again, how trash they are.
Yeah.
But I think the bigger issue here is, we know Urban Meyer's a shady guy based off of really his teams and some of the things that they've done.
The Florida 30 for 30 that's coming that we've been saying for years.
Yeah, and other things. But besides that, we know he's a shady dude. And I'm just curious why people are surprised that this dude knew about one of his coaches assaulting their wife and having a culture of it and really not doing anything about it, because that's pretty much what he did with all his players, 30 of them who caught arrests.
More than 30.
No, but it was 30 while he was at Florida. Just at Florida.
Yeah,
just at Florida.
Just Florida.
Yeah. And he was only at Florida for like 4 years.
Yeah. So pretty much a whole recruiting class.
And it's pretty much, I think I read that it's because his mentor, the dude who taught him everything he knows at Bowling Green, was like Smith's biggest advocate or whatever, something like that.
So Zach Smith, he went on a whole Twitter rant, but there's a pull quote in the story. Pretty much says, "Time for you all to face the damage you're causing," and that's kind of regarding Ohio State because the investigation is clearing up. But what happened was last week. Urban Meyer had pretty much a press conference talking about. Well, he technically did his job, but he was completely morally negligent. In the fact of he knew what was going on. He reported what he knew, kind of. But he still kept Smith on. And then he talked about how, like, there was a text of threads that went back years and he thought it was all gone and deleted, but he can't remember it. His memory's kind of shoddy. Like, there's just a lot of backtracking, and it was really uncomfortable to watch. To see him weasel his way out of accountability for that situation. And now, like, more documents are coming out. Like, Smith's ex-wife is... she's coming for necks and heads. And one of Zach Smith's tweets, it says, "Let's talk facts," capital, all caps facts. Since so many people, in parentheses, mainly opposing fan base fans, want to talk. Number one, my kids are suffering because of all this. Most important. Number two, I never beat my wife. Number three, OSU bots the investigation and worst off, the quote-unquote punishment.
Bruh.
Oh, wait, there's more. 4, they forced, hashtag, and he added Urban Meyer on this, into his statement. I hope at least because he knows what's real and would have never apologized. 5, President Drake is either the cause of the joke of an investigation or punishment, or he allowed it. And yeah, it was a 2-week investigation. He's suspended without pay and banned from interacting with the football team until September 2nd. But honestly, they play Oregon State, Rutgers, and TCU. TCU's ranked 16th. So yeah, their national championship hopes are in dire straits. Gene Smith was also suspended without pay for more than 2 weeks. And
I mean, are they though? Ohio State is still going to be stacked.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. They get 5-star recruits every year. They're really losing to Oregon State, who went, I think, winless in the Pac-12 last year. Get out my face. Get out my face. And also, Smith tweeted, "It's very hard to be silent. Yeah, when falsehoods and half-truths are said about you, and there's no way to defend yourself. I've made mistakes in my life, but being a domestic abuser is not one of them. I answer every question in court under oath. When the time comes, it can't wait." So I think it's more over domestic violence issues happen, but in this particular case, it's really just OSU did such a dirty, nasty job of handling it that it's almost like, you know what? We'll handle you later, Coach Smith. Ohio State, why are you so terrible?
I think it's something you alluded to. This was the easy decision, right? These 3 games are probably going to win either way with you or me coaching. So
I could play.
Might as well play the middle ground, give him a light suspension, give him a PR apology, and do our best to just win some games and move on for this. That's really what it all comes down to. Because, yeah, there's probably a world where Urban Meyer wouldn't have gotten any sort of punishment because, as you alluded to, he probably did technically do what he was supposed to do.
He did.
But morally, he's wrong. And so that's where it's kind of like, okay, how can you lead developing young men and have this horrible moral compass? So that's where it kind of gets foggy in terms of giving him a suspension. So I could see why they just went with 3 games and just were like, let's just move on with this.
And a board of trustee member resigned. He said the punishment wasn't profound enough.
But yeah, man. So let's move on
to the main one. because I was going to talk about the main issue